What up, my good people? We are back at it again with another Talking Ball podcast with my boy Big L Train in the building.
Yes, sir.
Week three is finally here. Week 2 is done and in the books.
Moving
We had
right
some
along.
good games. We had some wild games.
Yeah.
For as we always say, sometimes when the slate doesn't look good, you get some crazy games, some crazy ending games, and there was a couple that happened in that first early window Saturday. But like I said, let's just go ahead and hop into the Miami Hurricanes. Since this will be a quick, easy one, since you guys just blasted FAMU like obviously we thought you guys would.
Hey, get in, get out.
Yeah,
Had some no injuries for the most part that I saw. Cam had a pretty efficient day. The running game, it started off passing a lot, then we start running the ball a little bit towards the end of the half, second half. A lot of backups got some work in. That's always good to see. Zaquan got some more shine. Markel Bell at left tackle. Restrepo did his thing. So, it was a good game to watch if you're a Canes fan. Not a game you would love to watch if you're just switching through the
casual.
channels or
Yeah,
whatnot. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, you just
Like
get
I
on.
say, we get these games where it's kind of a a
Every team has them.
preseason game in a sense where you basically are getting work against another squad. You kind of work on your own things and work on yourself in a sense because
Self-scout, exactly.
you're far superior than this team.
Yeah.
So it's just execute is the name of the game. And that's what they did. Cam looked good. He's looked good obviously the first 2 weeks of the season. I think the offense is just going to do nothing but continue to get better. I love the fact that he's got those running backs to lean on. To have the balance that you guys are gonna like we said week 1. Where we agreed to disagree slightly. Where I was like, I think you guys are going to end up throwing it more than Mario technically would want to, but that's because you got a legit quarterback. So I think the offense is just going to continue to progress, and it's probably going to be status quo and another repeat. Obviously this week against Ball State. So we'll discuss the Ball State Maction game here in a second. But
it was a good game. Nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Got out healthy. Like I said, I haven't seen anything where
that's the
anyone
number
got
one
any
thing.
injuries.
When you play in those
out.
games, when you play in those games, that's the number one thing. Don't get nobody hurt.
Nope. Get in, get out. So
you say similar game on in the swamp is basically a team that you're far superior than, a team you're better than. So execute, show that you can do some things. Obviously the big thing was the fact that Mertz, suffered the concussion against Miami in week 1. So he was going to be out. So you were going to get your first look at the 5-star phenom. DJ Lagway was going to get all the reps. How is he going to fare in his first college start? And I thought he looked pretty good. He made some big time plays, some big time throws that we haven't seen in a long time. Definitely there was some other, just non-execution or bad, Jaden Ball's fumble, in the first half.
Had to going into almost like ETN almost.
Yeah, right. Good God, man.
You got to protect the football.
Yeah, it was like we were talking a little bit earlier, and I think, because we had really talked about what we thought about the Florida game and like, how is this going to go forward, with Mertz and Lagway. Obviously we knew this was going to be something talked about, before the season started. And, the big thing was the fact that he got inserted so early because of an injury. And so obviously you had Billy's presser the other day where he's, he didn't say, Graham Mertz is coming back and he's a starter. He didn't say Lagway's a starter now because he played so good. He's like, we're going to use both quarterbacks, coach speak. I just saw today too, they Nick Delatorre tweeted out that Florida is no longer going to release depth charts. They're only going to release player availability or something like that.
I think that's part of the conference. The conference makes them
they have to at least release that.
Yeah.
But they had been since, for a long time, they release a 2 deep depth chart.
Right. So, most teams do, as normal.
Exactly. So they're I guess there's a little bit of gamesmanship, maybe. I don't know, who's going to
especially going into a week like this.
Right. So what did you think about? I was just gonna say, what did you think about DJ's performance? I guess
I thought it's a true freshman coming in, starting 5-star, no star, whatever star. I mean, he made some big plays. He made some mistakes. He had some deep balls. There was a couple times where you're like, "Hey, throw it away. You can't take those hits." One of those hits he took where I remember texting you like, "Who's the third string quarterback?" When he took the shot on the side of the helmet.
Right.
I thought he looked good, but then again, you're playing against Sanford.
Yep, that's what everybody's going to say.
Yeah,
That's the caveat. You're playing
yeah.
Sanford.
So I
So
the
what
big
you want to see in that is, like we said, like against FAMU, you want to see good execution, big
right,
plays.
right.
Show me that you're capable.
Well,
And
and that's what I was going to say. I still saw some lapses on the offensive line play. Guys still getting in the backfield, the Jordan Ball fumble, things like that. Guys going the wrong way. Hey, at the goal line, when you're in the Wildcat, when
yeah,
Trayon's in the game, you got
I
to
hated
score.
I hated that call.
Yeah, you got to score right there. You can't go into the half 14-0 against Sanford.
Yeah, no,
Especially when you had opportunities in the red zone.
I was definitely disappointed in the score, the way the offense, looked in the first half, some of the
Hmm.
calls, some of the play calls, and obviously you're going to try to keep it vanilla. You're going to try to keep it easy for them, get the
Yep.
completions. My biggest takeaway going away was, again, this is where earlier in the week or right after the game, I was like, man, Lagway, he's going to give you the best chance to win.
Yeah.
Yes, there's going to be growing pains. Yes, there's going to be
Well,
greenness.
we said that last week. Just go. At this point, just go with it.
Right. And so now, after watching him throw the deep ball downfield, which we hadn't seen in a while,
Yeah.
and then going back and watching Mertz against Miami, like I told you, I finally went back and watched the film, and I'm just like, dude, Mertz was terrible.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it was a combination of, you can't just be like, okay, this guy just regressed. He just stinks now. He had the collarbone
A lot
injury.
of that's play calling, not put him
It's
in better situations.
I think it's partly, he just didn't play well for one.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, Miami basically said, we're going to play man to man, and we don't respect your passing game. We're going to shut your run game down,
Well,
which they did.
what was funny too is they got a true freshman at corner, and they didn't go at the true freshman at corner for
Well,
Miami week
I
one.
think he was fine. I think they're talking about that kid,
No,
even after
no,
this week.
he's playing good, but still, a true freshman in his first game in the swamp,
Yeah.
you got to at least take 3-4 shots at him.
Yeah, well, like I say, the problem was, what I was going to tell you too is watching the tape. Again, a lot of people like to criticize Billy's play call, and if the offense ain't working, it's Billy's fault because he's not
No,
calling it.
they had guys wide open.
Well, they didn't have guys wide open, but they had plays that to be had to where if Mertz makes the
Yeah,
throw, it creates an opening. Like
yeah.
that first Badger a deep post. If you
You got
look
to put that in front.
you throw it to the left side of you throw
That's
it
what
to
I'm
the
saying.
left
Yeah,
crossbar on the upright.
let him run underneath
He
it.
threw it almost to the right side upright,
The
and
DB had, Brown
never
had
gave him a chance to cross over or nothing.
exactly.
Almost like those deep crossers that the Dolphins run with Tyreek Hill. It's just
Yeah,
like, run to an open area, and I'm just going to throw it there.
yeah.
But this is the other sad part. I don't know if Mertz can throw it that far.
Well,
And
it goes back to last season where they're throwing sideline to sideline. He
well,
just gives you the best chance to win because of the experience, but talent wise, like you say, can he get it down the field consistently?
like I say, I got a stat for you. Last year, Graham Mertz plays of 40 plus in the season. Give me the number on how many he hit.
He hit or that he
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 did
took?
he hit? Did he hit?
Did he
He hit
hit?
four. He hit 40. He hit a couple. I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you. But he hit 40 plus pass plays. How many?
Probably 10 to 15. And I could think of some against South Carolina and Missouri.
He hit 5.
And
And
they were in South Carolina and Missouri, probably.
And DJ hit 5 in one game. Yes,
Yeah.
it was Samford, but again, that's where I know this kid can push the ball down the field.
Well, and the coaches trust him to put the ball down the field.
Right. Or he's just saying, screw this. I'm gonna let my nuts hang, and I'm gonna sling this thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you think about the pass to Trey Wilson was a good pass. He didn't give the DB time. He just put it in front of him.
The one that he hit Maisel, Aiden Maisel on, was like ridiculous. It was a dot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those just like, geez. Then he even kind of underthrew the one to Tank Hawkins. It was a deep ball. Like I say, it's just, I feel like he's gonna, yes, you're gonna take your lumps, and he could be he could be flat out terrible if he was to play.
The caveat to this past weekend, week 2, it wasn't Texas A&M, and it was Samford that he got his first.
He got his feet wet. He got his feet wet.
But
Hell,
if If
I
it
was
was
happy that
Texas
he played
A&M,
a quarter. He played a quarter against the Canes, and that was the
yeah,
only damn touchdown drive that the Gators got that day.
yeah, I think the Canes were playing off, but
Oh, definitely they were, and
that's here
they
nor
had
that's here
backups in
nor
there.
there. But I think it's still great that he had the Sanford game and not the Texas A&M game. If roles were reversed, it probably would have been a very vanilla offense for the most part. I think, in my opinion, I think they still would take a shot here or there, but you're going to play against a better defense this week. And the 2 quarterback system thing has only been one coach to pull it off. You know them very well because they normally say if you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none.
Yeah, well, this is the problem, and this is what everybody keeps confusing it as. Oh, they got to have a package for DJ, and I agree they should play him, but this is not like the Tebow Leak years where Leak's out here
I wasn't even.
throwing.
I wasn't
No,
even
I
thinking
know,
about. I was thinking
I know.
more
You're talking about
Spurrier
you're
than
talking about Warfel and swapping, Eric
Brandeis
Kresser and
and
yeah, all those
yeah,
guys, Doug Johnson,
yeah.
Noah Brandeis, yeah, all. Yes, Spurrier was the originator of the 2 quarterback system,
But
and
even the
those
Tebow
guys.
years, it was more just putting them in there and letting them run.
Exactly, and that's not DJ Lagway. You're
Right.
gonna you don't put DJ into run. You put him
No.
into throw it 50 yards downfield. Something that
No,
Mertz
I
can't do.
agree. I agree.
So there's no like change up. So it's just like okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where it's like, man, I don't. The continuity is not going to be there. You're switching up guys every 2 series or something. We'll throw. It's kind of like when Emory and AR. They kind of had similar. Like it was like who's
It just doesn't work because you get caught up into DJ's strong point as a deep ball. So Texas A&M is going to be sitting there like, well, 9 times out of 10, he's probably
not
going to
coming
throw
in.
a
Yeah,
deep
he's not
ball.
coming in to run this read option right
Yeah,
at us.
exactly.
And so
Plus,
plus
do
I
you
don't.
want to throw? Do you want him to really run the read option against
I was
Texas
about to say
A&M's
no. I
defense this
don't. I don't want
weekend?
him to take shots like that because that's not
Yeah.
his game. He is what he is these new age quarterbacks like a Cam Ward. He's elusive enough to create stuff to
Right.
keep the play going. Your Mahomes style. I can get
Yeah, but
elusive, but then I
he's not
can.
Cam Newton. He's not Cam Newton because people say that because of the
Exactly.
build.
Right. He's not just going to sit here and run quarterback power, 15 times in a game.
Right.
So
maybe in 3 years when his body
yeah.
gets more developed and bigger.
Totally. And I think again, I just don't want to throw Mertz completely out because it's like he did play well in spots at the end of the season from after that South Carolina game. He really was a good leader.
Yeah, the
He was
Missouri game, he was pretty good in the Missouri game.
definitely. So it was very disappointing that week one, your performance where you had all off season to get ready and you got a big stage against the Canes and you just lay an egg.
But I just think that, like I say, I know we're steady going back to week one. Yes, we could blame.
Well,
Mertz,
that's the only game he played.
right, for sure. But I think it's more than that. The defense didn't play that great.
The defense was
Coaching
terrible.
wasn't that great. They couldn't run the football. I mean, part of that is on play calling. So it's easy to, like you said earlier, pile on Mertz. He is part of the problem, but he's not the problem in a sense. There's a bigger problem down in Gainesville. And hopefully, like you say, putting the kid in there, probably if I'm Billy, this is what I do. Whatever. You play the 2, you let him ease in the game, and then as you get a feel for the game, if he's out playing Mertz, and then you just leave him in and just say, you know what, kid, here are the keys. Yeah. And we're just going to build every week. We're going to take some lumps. We're going to take some beatings. And it just is what it is. You might get a fair shake from the fan base if Lagway goes in and plays pretty good and they just say, well, you know what, we're not winning, but the future is bright and we see the future.
Right.
And you got to be creative and get Eugene Wilson the ball.
Yeah, well, see, again, that's another back. Trey didn't touch the ball until the second half. He had 0 touches.
This past game?
Yeah, against Samford.
That's terrible.
Your best player did not touch the ball, either a reception or a jet sweep or any of those plays, put him in the backfield until the second half. And then you can see that they were probably like, what the hell, Billy? Or what the hell, guys? Why are we not getting our best player the ball?
Hey, that's
because
Kyler Murray would say it's not his job to get him the ball.
Yeah. So then, as you can see, he finished basically in one half a ball. In the second half, he had 6 catches for 141 with the long 85-yarder, and that was, showed the speed. But like, again, you got to be able to get him the ball, man. So
it's coaching malpractice when you don't get your best players the ball. Football is not complicated, but today's coaches make it more complicated than it should be. You find creative ways to get your guys the football. That's all what you got to do. I mean, even if you say we're going to throw a bubble screen or the quick slants or whatever, you find out what that kid's strength is and you get him the ball. Like, granted, I'm sure everyone's thinking, oh, we're going to beat Samford. Let's get Badger in. Let's get Mizell in. Let's get these other guys going. But no, he's your bell cow. And the kids in the game, Lagway, you need to get that connection going right away because starting next week, it's tough sledding on,
Yeah. Well,
going the
like I said,
rest of the
that's
way.
like I say, that's might as well let's just do the preview for that game. We can circle back on games that happened, but let's just go ahead and get the Gators completely out of the way. What do you think going into the swamp this Saturday at 3:30 against the A&M team? Who now it's like you look at A&M and you're just like, okay, you can't go back to the whole Notre Dame just lost to Northern
Yeah.
Illinois. Like you suck now, blah blah blah.
No, I think going into this game, we know what we're going to expect from Mike Elko and his defense.
they're
The
gonna have a good
defense is going
beat.
to be tough.
I
I don't.
have. Go ahead. I want you because I want to see what you're going to say about.
No. I just think their defense is going to be tough. They're going to be come out there, and if you're giving up easy plays for the defensive lineman for Samford to get in, Texas A&M is going to get a pass rush.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to get guys stopping the run game. So, what do you do? How creative are you? Do you change up the playbook a little bit from Miami to Samford? Do you evolve the playbook? So, I think it's not going to be a high scoring game unless teams turn the ball over. I'm expecting it to be in the low 40s. This one's tough, man. If you got two quarterbacks, it's hard. And A&M's offense doesn't look great.
A&M's offense looks like shit.
Yeah, it's that's a great way to put it. But yeah,
I mean, when you really look at the numbers, Connor Wegman, I don't know what his problem is right now. He's not having a good start to the season.
Maybe he's not fully healthy coming off of the shoulder injury from last season.
Yeah, he literally threw for 100 yards against Notre Dame, and he threw for a 125 last weekend against McNeese State.
That's pretty pedestrian.
Yeah, I mean, he
This is
completed a lot of balls, but they look like they basically were content with let's just run the ball against McNeese State, which is just playing McNeese and you run the ball.
Let's get in, get out.
Yeah, and that's fine, but you got to be able to throw. Yeah, you got to be able to complete some balls. But
yeah,
offensively, they didn't look good against Notre Dame as well.
This is the game where you want to say, if you're a Gator fan, you're feeling good about going into the game where you're saying, you know what, this is a winnable game. We could get it up and being at home.
Exactly.
This is a tough one, man. This is a coin flip for me, to be honest with you. And I'm surprised that the line was at 3.5 A&M's way. I think it moved to 4 when I last looked at it, unless it moved again.
No, this is where it's at. I just looked.
This is where it's at. But I'm gonna just go on the A&M side, maybe winning by a field goal, just because of the uncertainty at quarterback and what the hell you guys are going to do at quarterback.
Yeah, see, so that's my question is, what do you think we should do? You think we should just roll with Lagway or roll with Mertz or do both?
I think they should start off probably if Mertz is cleared and he's good to play, you start off with him. But then again, you know what? You're at home. If it was at A&M, I would say start Mertz. Screw it. Start DJ. That man's trying to win for his job. Go down. You might as well just go down swinging.
That's what I want to know. What Billy, obviously he knows he's got to be on the hot seat. Just so the whole.
I don't think it's a secret.
Yeah, the whole coach speak of things is this is what every coach loves to say. We're going to do the best to win ball games.
You were trying to do your Billy impersonation.
Well, we're going to do the best to win ball games. Well,
if he's reading those articles from the guys in the basements in Central Florida, he knows he's on the hot seat.
That's what I'm saying. So what is the best to get wins for you, buddy, so you can stay at Florida or just move on, bud? I don't know. So I feel like obviously I'm going to be optimistic to say okay, because I can see the future of I know what DJ Lagway can be. Yeah. But now it's just like, okay, are we going to F this up by putting Mertz back in there and then him just shit in the bed again? And we're now we're chasing our tail.
But then again, like you say, you put DJ in there, Elko's going to come with exotic blitzes and exotic looks. So he's going to be confused. And that's why I said, even though I don't expect A&M's offense to really do much, but at the same time, their defense is still good enough to make a play here or there and probably get a pick six or cause a couple turnovers. Like, this is a game where you think, hey, offensive line, Montrell, Trayon, Ball, we need you guys to step up in this game.
We need to be able
type of game.
We definitely need to be able to run the ball a little bit for sure.
For whoever's at quarterback.
Yeah, no, for sure. Exactly. And I think, I think being at home obviously is a big deal, kind of like it
Yes,
was,
that
if we were
helps.
going to College Station, I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't pick us. I just feel like being at home, kind of getting our sea legs back, realizing Miami was for real. Miami was a real offense. A&M's not that offense. Now, yes,
Right.
their defense. I mean, shit, Miami's defense might be just as good as A&M's. Y'all are legit across the board right now. So if it's just A&M's D that we got to worry about and just try that low
Well,
scoring
yeah.
slugfest, kind of like
Run
the
more than 7 plays.
Notre Dame game,
Yeah.
it's could be similar to that. Like I say, 20-17 ball game, 24-21, something like that.
Yeah, that's the
But
range I'm thinking is gonna be in.
that's what I think it's going to be too. I'm just hoping this is what I'm hoping for. If Mertz gets the start, he doesn't just completely like just shit the bed. I hope he comes in and plays
Mhm.
like the Mertz we've seen. And then they say, okay, then Lagway comes in spurts and maybe hits a big play or something. And you're like, whoa, okay, now we got to figure out what we can do. Are we going to run this 2-quarterback system, or does one guy, like you say, just shine where you're like, okay, Mertz has got this thing under control. We don't have to go back with DJ.
Mhm.
Or, hey, we can't keep this kid off the field now. He's too good.
Well, maybe you go 2 series. You start off with Mertz, you give him 2 series,
Right.
you give Lagway 2 series, and then at halftime, you're
See
just
where
like,
you're at.
"Hey,
Yeah.
this guy gives us the best chance to win, regardless of
Exactly.
who it is, and we
I
put
feel
him
like
in and let's go."
I feel like that's going to be the temperament of what's
Yeah.
going to happen. But
You
it's
have
going to be
you
one of
have
those
to.
things. It's going to be one of those things where it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because now again, going back and looking at the schedule, this is okay. Now we got a winnable game against A&M. Maybe they're not so great. This is a new regime coming in. Hell, you look at the other game that we've talked about that the Gators must win. Now is even more of a must win down the line. You can't lose to freaking Kentucky. Like I don't know what Stoops has got going on.
Jesus.
Oh my God. I'm glad we're not playing
Cocky
South Carolina this year, but so
Cocky looked real good.
that's what I'm saying. So, and they
Them
got a big one
boys.
this weekend that I'm super interested
Yeah.
in that game
Hey,
as well.
aren't you glad you're not
But
playing Arkansas either?
that's
With
what,
that with that
dude,
offense?
trust, they look totally different. Like what's crazy is no knock on KJ Jefferson, but this guy, KJ, sorry, bud.
Almost 7. Well, we'll get to that. Let's just
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
the Gators and just go
But
on
yeah,
to the
no,
next one.
like I say, looking at Florida again, now you're
Yeah.
looking at maybe you got some winnable games because Mississippi State looked bad. So,
Yeah.
so you got it. You
But
got
they
to get
also made a West Coast trip.
They did, but they looked bad
Yeah.
against a team whose Arizona State hadn't been
Hey,
great.
how about this, Sponge? Take my philosophy. Don't worry
One
about
game at a time.
one game at a
One
time.
game at a
Worry about
time,
Texas
baby.
A&M. Don't worry
Yeah,
about after this
no,
week,
that's what I'm
because
saying.
if you start jumping ahead, worrying about
Well,
3
I'm
4
not.
weeks.
Again, this goes. I'm not the freaking coach. This is the
I
team.
know.
This,
I'm speaking as for the team. I'm not saying you, but I mean I am to you, but
yeah.
for the team, I'm saying from the philosophy from the team
No, I know.
standpoint,
I get it
you
totally.
you you
I'm
just
what I'm looking at now is we have some manageable games now. Is all I'm saying. So now,
well,
all I'm saying is now the expectation has changed. In my opinion, you better go win some of these games.
worry about Texas A&M. Don't worry about the other games.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Don't worry about the other games because I
I'm
bet
just.
you Notre Dame was worried about the other games.
Yeah.
Hell, Penn State was worried about the other games and they almost lost.
Yeah.
Oregon's worried.
Yeah,
You
let
worry
that.
about
I
you
don't know
worry
what
about
Oregon.
that week.
I don't know what the hell Oregon's worried about.
Exactly. So and that's why I said that even like last week, when you jumping all over me about the Miami thing, worry about the game you're playing with this week. And I know as
No,
fans, that's what we want to do. I'm not criticizing you, but I'm just saying from the team
I know.
aspect.
Well, again, I was talking to Gator Dave. Literally, what I said was what's changed in the last couple seasons of college football with the portal and all this, free agency, basically new teams,
Mhm.
all that stuff. The parity has gotten way much better. And it's except for that upper echelon of like your Georgia, Ohio States,
Yeah.
and your
Well,
Texases.
you can't like remember back in the day in the 90s where Nebraska had 120 guys on their sideline because they're stockpiling, even
Right.
though the scholarship limit was 85. Kids wanted to go there just because they wanted to play at Nebraska or they wanted to play at Florida State. So they're willing to say, I'll pay to go to this school for a year or two where you have your Andre Wadsworths of the world that walk on and eventually earn a scholarship. But you just don't see that anymore. Kids are
Yeah.
willing to go anywhere because everyone's on TV at some point.
Yeah, everybody's on TV. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody's trying to get a bag. Everybody's moving around. So you got new parts, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely changed the game. And in some sense, it's watered it down a little bit. I mean, like I say, we can get into that later on. Kind of like with the Colorado situation, or
Yeah.
even now looking at Florida State. What they got to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as Florida goes, like you say, I'll take your approach. We're gonna go one game at a time. Maybe I'll be able to put my Gator hat back on because I said I wasn't gonna wear one until we beat a Power 4 team. So, like I say, I'm gonna take the Gators this week. I think we're gonna have some swamp magic. Hopefully, hopefully it'll be
I
more lit
I'm
than it
not
was last week.
I'm not touching this game.
Yeah.
I'm not touching this game either way.
Go money line, baby, money line. Get the good
Nah, I'm
odds.
good. I don't want that bad juju.
The bad juju.
Yeah.
The bad juju. All right. So
Speaking of, what's up?
how much do the Canes cover the 36.5 against
I
the
don't
Ball
think so.
State? What? I
I
don't
think
know, baby.
we're gonna win. We're gonna
No, I
win.
know. You don't think you're
I,
gonna win like 49-7? That's where that's
I
49-7.
get
That's
I
my
get
score.
yeah,
Canes
49-7.
49-7. 49-7. So
Hey,
you hit the
I don't
over,
even I don't
and you
hey
covered.
man, I don't even care.
You just
As a
wanted a
Canes
W.
fan, I want the W. And what's not going to happen is Mario's going to piss me off again and leave Cam in the game longer than he should be in the game.
Yeah, he
Like
doesn't need to play into the
he,
fourth quarter if the
well,
game's out of hand, man.
he's playing into the
I,
third quarter Saturday, and I'm like, why is this guy still in the game when we're up?
yeah,
Like we're gonna beat Fam. I don't care if Fam scored 14 points and we won 35-14. Who cares about that anymore? The blowout of those games. I just want my guy in, make some plays, and get out.
yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, you got to action, baby. Hey, Notre Dame thought they were going to beat NIU. Penn State was in a dogfight with Bowling Green. So it's like we say, you take it 1 week at a time. They should beat Ball State and cover against Ball State. But these, like I always say, they're 19, 20-year-old kids. Who knows what the hell they want to do? So get in, get out. They're good. The Canes are going to get the W. Just run the football, play some good defense. As long as the D line still playing great, I like our chances. I mean, we're going to win. But the only thing my concern is,
I like your chances.
yeah, my concern is left tackle. I know he said that he was keeping Jalen Rivers out this past week. Just it wasn't right to play him. He was a little banged up because what I saw from Bell, it wasn't terrible, but you could tell he's a young kid, and that's not what we need going the rest of the season. Is a backup left tackle playing. We've been down that road before, so yeah, Canes will win. I could see it being, you know what? Hell, I'll go with you. 49-7. How
There
about
you
that?
go. Boom, baby.
Yeah,
Boom.
boom.
All right, we'll do the last look ahead before we go back to some of the week 2 matchups that were the big ones that we saw we'll go with our local trio, the Canes, Gators, and Knowles.
Yeah.
Interesting game here.
Very, very.
This is what are you doing, Florida State game? What's crazy is what the line opened at this one?
It was the other way. I thought Memphis
was
favored, wasn't it?
No. It was Florida State was favored, but they were only favored by 3.5. So the money's coming in on Florida State.
It is. Yeah.
The money's coming in on Florida State. This is like a must-win game. You have to win this game. You can't
go 0-3.
You can't lose to Memphis.
You
can't lose to the team
home.
that you took Mike Norvell from.
And at home and dope.
Yeah.
With all the controversies with the band and playing the war chant and all of that.
Well, did you see the latest thing that has been on social media where they're doing like quarterback drills and
with the water guns in the background?
I know they do the water guns on the punt returns and stuff, but they got like a basic water gun fight going on behind DJ taking his little play action.
At some point, these coaches got to tell the video people, you can't post that because most of these practices are closed. So it's coming from your content creators.
Yeah.
Like you got to have someone that you trust QA in this stuff. It doesn't have to be Mike. It doesn't have to be Mario or Billy, but it has to be someone you trust that they QA some of this stuff before they post. Because I know it's quick. Some of these content creators, they see it. Oh, look at this pass. Look, throwing darts like in Colorado, and they post it real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I say, I don't know what to think about this game because it's just like Florida State we haven't seen them get right yet.
So and this is what I think. While you formulate what you think,
okay,
they had 2 weeks to figure out.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They at least had that bye week to maybe figure something out.
Hey, they've had some soul searching these 2 weeks. I feel like in this game, I think Florida State's going to win. The key to Florida State winning is Memphis is probably not going to be as physical as Boston College and Georgia Tech on their lines of scrimmage.
Definitely.
So this is a game where you favor a Patrick Payton and a Marvin Jones to be able to get off the edge and harass the Memphis quarterback. That's a big if. But then you still got to bank on DJ Lundy and that linebacking crew to make enough plays to put themselves in the right situations and not over pursue a hole and get hidden behind the D tackle and the running backs popping out the next side. But I could see Memphis going in up tempo and just trying to confuse the hell out of the Florida State defense. Hakeem is back this week at wide receiver. Maybe they could get him going. But if you hate to say pull a guy, pull a guy, pull a guy, but if DJ ain't doing it, you got to pull him. You got to go. You just got to pull him and go the other way.
Yeah, I know they're interested in seeing what they got behind them with either Brocklin or even the freshman Luke Krimenhoek.
Yeah.
What's different in this game than the first two is Georgia Tech and both Boston College, like you said, are physical on the offensive line, and they wanted to establish the run and run at you. Memphis is a little more high-powered. They like to throw it. They like to throw it around.
Yeah.
Their quarterback now. So this will be a different look for what Florida State. So
yeah.
Will they be able to get home on the pass rush? Will that back end all of a sudden get exposed to basically, losing some of those guys in the secondary if they're not getting home? So that's going to be the interesting chess match on that. And, the QB, like I say, he's completing 70% of his balls, and he's almost done for 500 yards in 2 games. Now, granted, they played Troy last week and handled business, and then they played some 1AA type school week 1.
And like I say, the reason why I'm taking them too, they cannot go 0-3.
Yeah,
you cannot go 0-3.
That's what I'm saying. I think part of it too is, we've watched this, and I've heard many people talk about like Florida State defensively, just even offensively, they just don't look almost like they're even in the game. They just don't look. You got to play possessed, man. You got to play like every play's your last, all that type of deal.
They got their bag, and like you always say, they're fat and happy.
Yeah, they're just not playing aggressive. They're not looking like, you watch, like going back to that LSU USC game, like those guys were flying around smacking. Like these guys are just kind of like, oh, they play a couple big plays, and then you just don't
week 2 LSU looked like how Florida State looked the first.
I know. I don't. That's again
the first
let down city. I don't know what the hell.
I just think this is a check yourself at the door type game, and like I said, you had 2 weeks to hear how bad you are. You're not going to win any more games. You're not in the conference race. After a while, I don't care how many bags have been dropped on you, how many dollars you're getting. As a man, it kind of like it challenges you as a man and a football player, because the last thing you want are those old Florida State players calling you and saying, what are y'all doing there? And criticizing, and, the alumni getting mad and everything going on. So I think Florida State's going to win. It's probably going to be a close game. And like I say, I hate to see them go 0-3 because it will be bad if they go 0-3.
I'm telling you. And like I said, let's not look ahead, but the team who we were kind of questioning, the new team in the ACC, Cal, beat the dog, like just physically out physicaled Auburn, so that game looks difficult now, so it's like, you watch some of these teams play where you're like, I don't know what this team looks like. So you better not screw around and lose this game, because obviously you got SMU and Cal coming down the pipe before you got to play, the Clemsons and the Miamis of the world. So
and Notre Dame.
But like,
they want to be physical.
Well, that, and obviously Notre Dame has lost their mulligan, so they got to come out and play. As long as Notre Dame's not playing Marshall or Northern Illinois, they've been pretty good
at home. But, they're good.
But again, I just think this is a scary spot.
What do you
come out? They better come out with their hair on fire. Is what I'm saying.
What do you think the score is going to be
to Florida State?
Florida State, Memphis.
I'll say they win and cover, but I think it's going to be like a touchdown type game. I'm thinking in the neighborhood of like, can Florida State score 28?
Well, and then Lucas is out for the year. Did you hear that?
Oh, Jaden Lucas, the slot guy?
Yep, he's out for the year.
I mean, hell, they didn't get him the damn ball. I mean,
game 1 they did.
He was their
game 2 they did.
Yeah. He was their jet sweep guy. And I didn't see that. That's a big loss, because he's their quick guy.
Swiss Army knife, kind of does a little bit of everything
can
on
Florida
offense.
State score 28?
I mean, hey, to get the W, you don't need to score 28. You just need to score one more than the other team.
Like I say, maybe they don't cover. Maybe I'm thinking like 31-24, something like that. 28.
You just said you don't think they could score 28, and you went 31.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get them to over a touchdown, so I'm trying to get them to cover. That's because I think Memphis can score more than 21. So if I'm like, if it's 28-21, I don't know. I'm thinking
If they lose this, it's hard for me to believe that he's gonna get that team back on track and a pulse.
Yeah, so I'll go Florida State's going to win and cover, and but I think they got to score 28.
Yeah, like
You,
a
you got to,
28-21
yeah,
type thing. Yeah,
yes, but I could see it like 28-24, something like that. You
yeah,
know, but I don't know. Like I say, it's big, but they better come out with their hair on fire. For
yep,
sure.
I
And
agree.
it's it's a noon kickoff too, so it's not a night game.
Nope.
Those are slow.
Will the dope be packed at noon?
It'll probably be.
It'll be a nice
Well,
crowd, but
the other thing too is they're going through all that construction, so they got
true. It's
yeah,
not 100% capacity.
yeah. The question is, are they going to stop playing rap music and music in between plays like it's an NFL game, man?
On
Like I say,
third down.
I literally noticed that. No, they're doing it literally every play.
It's funny because where I was, I couldn't hear it, and you text me and
Yeah, I'm just
or
like
text the group and said
it
that.
was like it was like so annoying because I'm like, dude, what is this? It sounded like an NFL game, because
Yeah,
NFL games they don't have bands, so they play music in between plays, so it's just
right.
not stagnant. And they literally were playing, like when I was watching it was funny because I got my new sound bar and sound system.
Yeah,
The that Friday night game in Brazil with the Eagles and Green Bay,
yeah,
like literally they were playing like rap between every segment, like every play, and
yeah,
it was just like you could hear it in the subs behind you,
yeah.
like just like you could hear the game going on and the announcers and stuff, but in between plays, you could
You
hear
heard
Megan
it.
the Stallion in the background. You're just like, what's
Yeah,
going on here? But
yeah.
just
Hey,
you got to play the chop, you got to be loud.
yeah.
The team needs to come out with their hair on fire.
It's a dumb thing to talk about, to be honest with you, but at the same time, it's Florida State. It's a tradition. The war chant is synonymous with college football. When you hear that, everyone knows it's either Florida State, even before the Chiefs, Florida State. So, and it's a dumb thing that we're talking about, but like I say, that's part of their tradition, and that's part of getting the fans involved, getting the players hype. It's like, their pregame traditions. It's like getting rid of all of their pregame stuff with Chief Osceola and the good, bad, and the ugly as they walk down the field and all of that. Are you like, what are y'all doing over there?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I say, it'll be interesting to watch. And
Yep.
like I say, I'm looking at the 12 o'clock window this week is the best window for this week's games, in my
Yeah.
opinion. There's several good games, and we'll get to those. But let's go back and look at some of the other big topics that happened. Obviously, the biggest game, the top 10 game, which was not even a game, it was a blowout and complete domination up in the big house. Quinn Ewers
Hook
looked
'em.
like a surgeon out there carving them up, and just Texas beat the hell out of Michigan, man.
Yeah. I just
Texas,
think Michigan just lost too many guys. And they just going into that game when they said they had a walk on at starting quarterback, I was like, well, this one's over.
yeah,
I already know
exactly.
who I'm taking. Like,
And on
there's
top of that, I don't even like Orgy. I don't like Alex Orgy.
no,
I don't. So
no,
they've not done a good job of getting ready to replace JJ
yeah,
McCarthy.
no.
And like you said,
Unless it's like a guy like Baker Mayfield going from one school to the other that is a proven and he
yeah, they
has
should.
to walk on, that's one thing. But a
Yeah, they
true
should have
walk on, yeah.
hit portal, man. I get like I say,
But
they
I think Sharon Moore was trying to give Orgy the opportunity, and you're the heir apparent, but that you're still not doing your due diligence as a coach to bring in competition.
Yeah, no, like I say, I knew offensively it was going to be a struggle because obviously losing Blake Corum. Yes, you got
Mhm.
Edwards, who's a dude, but Edwards I think benefited from
Blake
Blake
Corum,
Corum
yeah,
and JJ McCarthy and that big offensive line.
and those
Obviously,
receivers they had,
yeah, even like a Roman Wilson was good. They still have
yeah.
the tight end, but I just
You can't expect to throw to Loveland every play and think you're going to be
no,
successful.
not at all. And Michigan lost a lot of good players on defense as well. Now, yes,
Mhm.
they got those two defensive
Mason
linemen that are
Graham,
really nice, and they got
yeah,
obviously they got one of the best corners in the country, but
yeah,
they lost some guys in that secondary and in that linebacking core. So you knew it was going to be a drop off.
mhm,
You just knew it, and they're definitely. That's why neither one of us picked them to get in the playoff, and they're probably a
right,
three loss. They're probably a 3-loss team this year.
right,
Now, granted, that defense is definitely going to keep them in ball games,
yeah.
but that was a
I
really good
mean,
offense.
I thought the defense did a pretty good job to start the game. They kind of confused Ewers a little bit, but at the same time, he figured out I'm not going to force anything. If we got to punt and play defense for right now until we get things going, and they finally got start dialing up some plays, and then
Yeah, they
it
literally
was over.
they were the stat in the game for me was just watching those first quarter. I got to go look it up to see what the final number was,
Hmm.
but third down, like
Yeah, it was a
they.
ridiculous number. Yeah, it was a high percentage.
Let's see. I'm about to look it up right now because I was like, they are killing these boys on third down.
Yeah.
Michigan was 3 of 12 on third down.
Hmm.
Terrible. Texas 10 of 16.
Yeah, that's pretty efficient, and they have a pretty good tight end themselves. Especially when you got all those guys on the outside and Bond and
Dude,
Bolden,
Isaiah
and
Bond just does not look right in the damn Texas uniform. It's
he
just so
really
weird.
doesn't. Yeah, he
It's
really
it's
doesn't. But yeah,
it's
Gunnar Helm had a touchdown to get
no, he was
the
nice. He was
yeah,
nice.
he's good. I
Like I
mean,
say,
he's not
Texas, even for what they lost on defense, that defense looked pretty good
the
too. I
defense looked
mean,
pretty good. Yeah,
Texas is definitely. I mean,
they're flying.
I think they're one of the best teams in the country. I think they're a top 5
Yeah.
team. They get some. They got some good matchups coming down the line too, where they're going to
Hmm.
play some teams. So we get to see them play Georgia and Bama. So I don't know if they got Bama. They do have Bama this year, but we're going to see them play Georgia. In the regular season. So that's
Yeah.
going to be
I mean,
great.
they still got the Red River Shootout.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's another team. That's another team that
they
look
haven't
bad.
looked. Yeah, but I just say, but we know that rivalry game. They play up to.
No. I'm just saying, that was like one of the ones bet line last week. It was like bet
They
Oklahoma against Houston. They're gonna blow. Houston's
Yeah,
terrible.
right.
And 16 to 10. Come on, man.
They wanted Dylan Gabriel out of there so bad so he could get the kid in there, and now
Well, hell,
you
he's
reap
he's
what you
not
sow.
he's not exactly lighting it up either. I mean, he's
I
number
mean, but you
wise,
look
he's
at
pretty
number
good.
wise, he is, but they're just not. I don't know. We'll get to that one next too.
We
Whenever.
can go ahead and jump into that one next too, because
Okay.
that would have been. I mean, now let's just go into what the other big takeaways. We'll go. In my opinion, Boise State should have won that game.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, Genty had what 180, 190
yeah,
yards rushing.
everybody's got him in the Heisman right now as one of the top
Hmm.
backs in the country. I mean, Oregon did enough to get there at the end where they just drove down the field and got into field goal range and kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah,
Walk off
I
style.
can't put my finger on what the problem is out there. I mean, you still got a lot of skill guys. You still have a decent defense. It's not like they lost a ton, but the losses they had, they were able to kind of replace. Like I say, it's not a huge. There's a drop off from Nix to Gabriel,
I was
but
just about to say that was my question. How much better is Bo Nix than Gabriel? Is it a lot? I mean,
I
obviously
think,
Bo Nix is hell. He's already starting in the NFL, and he
yeah,
he,
I
he didn't
think
have the greatest game, but Bo Nix actually looked really good last
right.
year.
If we would have said Auburn Bo Nix versus Dylan Gabriel, I would have took Dylan Gabriel. But the last 2 years of Bo Nix, he was efficient, got the ball out quick. I think that's just their style of offense. You get the ball out quick to those receivers, make plays, and get down the field. I don't know if that's what it is. Like I say, game one, he was like, what, 41 or 49. This past
Yeah,
week, he was pretty efficient. So it's just can't put maybe it's the defense can't stop anybody. Because like I
yeah.
said,
Well,
the
I
kid
mean,
almost had 200 yards rushing.
yeah. No, it was again. It was like one of those things where let's look at Gabriel's numbers this week against Boise. He was 18 to 21, so he was highly efficient. Didn't throw
Yeah.
any incomplete balls
Hmm.
for 243. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, 2 touchdowns. They ran it. Jordan James had 102 yards on the ground. But on the flip side, yeah, what's crazy is the kid from Boise attempted 40 passes
That's crazy.
and only completed 17 of them for 148.
And they
But like
still
you
were
say, your
able to
boy
run the
Gentry
football.
had 192 on the ground and they had
Yeah.
220 total. It was just,
Yeah. I mean, Dan Lanning's got to figure it out.
yeah,
They're winning, but as they get into the Big Ten schedule,
yeah.
I mean, because they got a game with Ohio State in a week or two. Is it Ohio State or Michigan? They got one or the other in the next week or two.
Yeah, no, Ohio State or Oregon's next couple games coming up are they play the Civil War this week,
Oh
which is
yeah, the
just
Civil War is this week. Yeah,
which is just weird, but it
yeah.
is what
About
it
the
is.
last game of the year.
Yeah, they go to Corvallis 3:30 kickoff for that one. Then they're playing their other Pac-12 foe
Wazoo.
UCLA. No,
Oh,
UCLA.
UCLA. Sorry.
Then they get Sparty. So they get kind of 3 games they should be able to win before they finally play
Or I would
Ohio
say get
State.
right. Figure out how to
Yeah,
get right in the
that's what I'm
next
saying.
3 weeks.
That's a good thing. That
Yeah.
sets up their schedule to get right in these next 3 games. You're better than all 3 of these teams. You should be able to work out your kinks before you go play Ohio State. But
Yeah.
yeah, Oregon definitely they got some issues. They got some problems.
Yeah, just like Notre Dame. Notre Dame has problems on offense.
Notre Dame, we could hop right into that one. Notre Dame, what the hell? Like you can't lose. Like you can't have this big, huge week one game where everybody's hyped up that
Hmm.
game day game, Texas A&M. So now we overhype both A&M and Notre Dame like they're these two defensive slugger knots, and just
Well, and then you can't have
you come lay
you
an egg
can't.
against Northern Illinois, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, as Marcus Freeman, you can't have what two of your first. This is second year or third year for
This is
Marcus Freeman.
third
So
season.
in your 3 seasons, you've lost to two opening home games, one to Marshall and one to NIU.
Yeah,
Like
that's bad.
you just can't do that in the
He
offense.
has some really bad
He
losses.
does. He has some big wins and some
He d-
bad losses.
exactly, and
It's
that's gonna get you, as we would say, that's gonna get you fired,
Yep,
buddy.
yep. I think they just have a problem on offense and they just can't figure it out right
I
now.
think
Riley Leonard's not looking.
I think it's Riley Leonard. They say his labrum on his non-throwing shoulder is the issue. So what that does, that's not his throwing shoulder, but guess
But
what?
still,
That's
you still
gonna
use that throw.
no. What is Riley Leonard's best asset?
He likes to run.
Exactly. So when you have a effed up shoulder, you can't take hits on that,
No,
running the ball. So
it was
I think that's taking everything out.
yeah,
On top of, you're still healing from whatever that ankle issue was.
yeah.
So again, the offense hasn't looked right.
No,
That's two years in a row you kind of swung and missed with Sam Hartman and Riley Leonard in the
yeah.
portal.
And how bad was
So,
the officiating crew at the end of the game?
yeah,
That was they almost cost them the game. Like, good thing they were in field goal range and they hit the field goal to win. But it's like half the bodies past the first down line, the ball's
yeah.
passed, and then you move it back and say they didn't get the first down.
Well, they didn't even
Like,
give him the first down on the spot. That was part of the problem. When they
but
reviewed
that's what
it,
I'm saying. Like, half his body was past the
I
line.
think I was more annoyed with the announcers at the game. Like I forget who it was.
NBC. So
I know it was Colt McCoy, I think,
yeah,
and it was just like, dude, he's halfway across. It was like, whatever, dude, whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, Notre Dame, obviously terrible loss.
Hmm.
Can they bounce back? Their schedule is manageable, but they still got to play a
But
USC.
like I said, if you can't beat NIU, it's trending that you can't beat all these other teams with
Put it this
better
way,
offenses.
I would have Notre Dame out of my playoffs now. Like we had them in last
Right?
week.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you got to go 10-2. You have to, but guess what? We're saying if it's 10-2 is
Shit,
the
they
magic
need to go
number.
11-1. They
I
have to go 11-1.
I agree. So here's the thing. So
10-2, they're out.
let's just say they go 10-2 and lose to USC. What is their big sexy win? And then you take that 10-2 record and you say, well, they lost to Northern Illinois versus you lost to Ole Miss or whoever,
Yep.
So
They're out.
Notre Dame they got to win out in my opinion.
And that's what I was saying about the action. I mean, you had NIU go and beat Notre Dame. Then you had Bowling Green up in Happy Valley trying to pull up the upset. Hey, tip my hat to those Bowling Green kids. There was a couple bad plays at the end where they just couldn't convert those first downs, and Penn State figured out a way to win the game. It was sitting there watching it. You're just like, what are you guys doing? James Franklin, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you can't have games like that. You just can't at Penn State.
No, for sure. Like I say, that was a big one. The other early game that was the wild one we talked about before was that Oklahoma State Arkansas game. And that's where you got to say, did Arkansas lose that game or did Oklahoma State win that game?
No, Arkansas lost it. You can't have 700 yards of offense and lose, because watching that game, you're just like, dude, as great as Green played, he had some boneheaded plays, and
that interception was the killer, man.
it was some
In the second
boneheaded
quarter,
plays.
it was
then,
that was bad.
You held Otley Gordon to what, 10 yards for what, 2.5 quarters almost?
Yeah, he only finished with 49 total on the ground.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
I mean,
He really
like,
didn't do anything.
he didn't do anything. He was a non-factor for sure.
And the biggest play he had was the winning touchdown in the second overtime.
Yeah. Like I say, it was definitely in my opinion, Arkansas lost it because they were up, that interception was so bad, it was like you're up 21-7 and then you're up 21-10. And then, like I say, next thing you know, it's tied, and then it's just back and forth there at the end.
They literally moving the ball up and down the field with ease. I mean, Bobby Petrino, as much of a scumbag he is,
they were up 14-0, getting ready to go up 21, kind of like the Jags. They were about to go up by 3 scores, in the second quarter and you throw the pick six for 73 yards, and then it's a new ball game. Now, granted, you went down and at least answered to take the 2-score lead back, but then it just went back and forth, and that fourth quarter was just nuts, man. It was nuts.
I mean,
it was great football, a fun, wild, entertaining game, but definitely Sam Pittman is allergic to winning. Like it's just like, dude, how do you not finish that game off? That was a good one. The other game that was in that early slot, we don't have to talk about it big time because I did hit my money line parlay on it. Was my boy Cade Bell and the Pitt Panthers, man. I was like, early in that day, I'm sitting here, man, I'm like, God dang, Cade, y'all are getting blazed up by Cincinnati. Cincinnati came out and was like working them boys. And I was like, well, that's a loss. And for them to come back and win that game was nuts. But I will give credit to my boy Cade. That offense is looking good for the Pitt Panthers. Off to a 2-0 start. And
how about the crazies? One of the crazy. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I was just saying the quarterback is a true freshman. So,
wow.
And then they got a kid, like I say, the kid they got, I actually texted Cade on Sunday and was like, congrats, hell of a game. Way to finish it off. Way to come back. He's like, dude, we had shit open in the first half. We just fucking couldn't hit it. And so second half, he's like, the kid started hitting it. And I'm like, yeah, well, the other thing too, I was like, Des Reed is your fucking dude. He's like, hell, he said, duh, he's from Miami. He goes, in-state schools don't know how to recruit some of those guys. Desmond Reed should be playing for the Gators, Canes, or Knowles. Instead, he was a 3-star playing for Pitt. It is what it is, but that was, like I say, where that game started, I was like, man, they're getting their ass kicked. And for them to come back and win it at the end, 28-27, was another wild early slot finish. Who else you got from week 1 or week 2? There was
a couple other games. So week 1, what was it? Nico in the Tennessee ball offense.
Yeah, that was the other one. That was the other one. Yeah, that was definitely.
And that defense, that front seven defense, with Pierce coming off the edge.
I guess here's my other thing too, where I'm not going to overreact is I don't think NC State's very good. I think they're overrated, but it's a hell of a win.
No.
Top 25 team.
I agree, but to come in and get
put it this way, they put them in their place. When you beat a team 51-10, you say, yeah, you are trash. We put you in your place, and I think Tennessee now. Here's the wild thing. This how about this stat, Faro? Tennessee is ranked number 7 in the country in the top 10 or the top 25 poll, right? But they're ranked 6th in the SEC, dude.
I mean, where they got 6 other SEC schools in front of them in the top 10.
That's what I'm saying. That's nuts. That is nuts.
Yeah.
The only team that's ahead of them is Ohio State. Everybody else is Georgia, Bama, Texas, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Like it's. Yeah. But
how about another?
Tennessee looks good.
Yeah, two other games because I know we need to jump on this week.
Yeah.
Two other games. Crazy ending with K-State and Tulane.
Yep, that was a good one.
That was a good
one. We haven't
even
talked about the other one. I just forgot about it until right now.
Which one?
Go ahead. I want to see if you're going to say it.
Oh, my favorite school to watch when it comes to betting, Iowa. The Iowa State game.
That was another good game. I'm talking about Colorado getting their doors blown off. How about that one?
Ooh, buddy. Hey, I know being an offensive lineman, I talk about the lines of scrimmage and the trench warfare a lot. But if you have bad trenches, you're not going to win. That game was over before. It was 21-0 quick. Yes. They got problems out there. They have a lot of problems out there.
The biggest problem is, they retooled this transfer portal offensive line, but they don't even try to run the ball. They don't even try to establish any running game. They don't have a tight end at all, so they got to run 10 personnel the whole game. So they're just 5 wide, 4 and 5 wide. Chuck it down to Travis Hunter, play 150 plays. It's like, dude, that shit. I looked at the rest of their schedule. If they don't beat Colorado State this weekend, I got them winning 3 games, dude. Like
I can see that. Their over under was 4.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not better than they were last year.
No,
So
no. Yeah, so like going into this pack, going into week 2, we both looked at the schedules and was like, it's nothing appetizing where you're like October
yeah,
12th that everyone's looking
right.
forward to. But it turned out to be a lot of good games. And the sneaky team you laughed at me when I said during the offseason was Syracuse.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, there's another one, baby.
the
Kyle
Cuse
McCord,
caboose.
baby.
I know I didn't talk about them during the preview show, but hey,
They
their
beat a
schedule is
top
cake.
25. They beat a top 25 Georgia Tech team who beat the Noles already.
Yeah.
That was their claim to fame.
Yeah,
Winning
and
in
like I
Dublin.
said, yeah,
They
then the
were up.
Iowa game.
Now they almost kind of let that game get a little hairy too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
They
Yeah.
were up. They
And
were
then
in
the
command,
Iowa
and
State
then
game. How did Iowa lose that game, dude?
yeah,
I
Iowa
mean, other
again.
than Cade
They were in
McNamara, it's
complete
terrible.
control. They were in complete control of that game, and just Iowa State made some plays late, and hit the over. Joe
Yeah.
got busted.
Yep. All right, let's go into
All right, well,
week 3, man, because we can
what you
still
got?
talk about week 2.
Yeah. Week 2 was good when you really look at all those games. Like
That's
it
what I'm
was
saying.
nice.
Yeah, it was a good week
It
2.
turned out to be sexy.
Yep.
So week 3, we talked about all of our games, the Canes, Gators, and Knowles. So what is your big? I mean, obviously the biggest one, I guess, is game day. What does South Carolina look like in Cocky Land with LSU coming to town?
Man, LSU better figure it out because I know the score doesn't. If you just looked at the score, you'd be like, "Oh, they handled business against Nicholls State." They
No.
really didn't. They
That first,
really did not.
dude, that thing was a 7-point game, 6-point game
Yep,
at halftime against Nicholls State.
it was
So
terrible.
yeah, shout
Hey,
out to T. Felder. He was at the game because he went to Nicholls State, and it was like I say, LSU. For all the accolades and they're back, offensively look good. Week 1 again, week 1 to week 2, all these things change, overreaction, all that stuff. South Carolina looked like shit against ODU, and then they came out and beat the hell out of Kentucky. So it's
hey,
you can't get a gauge on it.
If BBN got blown out that last week, what do you think about this week with the Georgia offense coming
That's
in?
not, dude. Oh, that trust that game. If it had any luster to it, it's like I don't even care about watching that. I'm not even turn it on. Like that's the night game. It's like
Yeah, like I say, looking at this week's schedule, it doesn't look too appetizing, but I feel like, hey, 2 games. Why they're week 3 is beyond me because the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. You got the Apple Cup and you got the Civil War. You got Washington State, and Oregon State. When it comes to those 4 teams playing each other, their rivals, you throw the records out the windows unless they're just one of those teams like when Reggie Williams played at Washington when they were really good. But these teams are, I think, pretty evenly matched, and I'm curious to see what happens in those games. And then your boy Cade Bell at the Backyard Brawl up there in West Virginia. No, there's that Pitt. Sorry. It's that Pitt.
Eat
West
shit,
Virginia
Pitt.
at Pitt. So,
Yeah, no,
Garrett Green.
you got hell. What's great is I like Friday night's game.
Arizona, Kansas State.
Arizona at K-State. That's a great.
Did you see T-Mac's numbers? I don't think T-Mac. I think T-Mac had like 2 catches.
Yeah,
they only won
didn't
22-10 against Northern Arizona.
Yeah, that's what it was like. It was kind of weird. They were kind of struggling in that game. Along, like I said, Kansas State had to win in the end against to beat Tulane. So that'll be an interesting game for sure because now that's a Big 12 matchup. I definitely like it though, but it's definitely good Friday night watching. Yeah, that the early slate again going on to that Saturday. This is a weird game.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I got one for you. What's the over under 3 picks by TDD?
That's where I was going. That's the game I was going to.
I know. That's why I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, no, I know. I was going to ask you, does Bama cover the 16.5? So
I think so.
You answer that they cover the 16.5, and I'll say over under 3 picks. Yeah. I'll say push. I'll say he throws 3 picks.
Yeah, I should have said 2, but yeah, I said 3. But Bama kind of started off slow against South Florida. I think that's just their kryptonite or something. I don't know why they always start off slow against South Florida. They put up 28 points in the fourth quarter, but because South Florida plays a weird style.
They do. I like this coach, and everybody likes this coach, and that's why a lot of people like maybe South Florida to be that group of 5 to maybe get in, the playoff. Because
that's the game I'm worried about next week, buddy. I told you.
Yeah, no
I remember I said that's the game that.
Yeah, I still you're better than them, but we'll get to that game. We're not going to look ahead, Faro.
No, they're not.
I'm on your mindset.
There you go.
Blinders,
I
baby.
like it.
Peaky
I like
blinders.
it. I like it.
Peaky blinders.
Finally
We'll worry about
coming
that next
to
week.
my side.
Yeah, Bam. I think what it is right now is Milroe is just still trying to get acclimated to the new offense.
Yeah.
We know he's not a great quarterback throwing the ball. He throws bombs over Baghdad. He's not your progression reader. He's a big play guy, and he's a damn dynamic runner.
Just throw it to 2. Just throw it to number 2.
Yeah, Ryan
that
Williams
kid is real.
True
Just
freshman,
throw it to 2, man.
Trust. So again, I think he's acclimating to the new offense. You know, I think defensively they're fine. Bama is, and like I said, you're playing against freaking Van Dyke, so he's going to give you something. And then I don't think this is as good of Wisconsin D as it's been.
No.
Now I do think Luke Fickell's a good coach, so he'll probably scheme some stuff up to try to stop Jalen Milroe's ground game. But again, I don't know. I think Bama covers. I think they get it right and figure it out. So that's an early 12 o'clock game, along with the LSU South Carolina game day games at 12. The Florida State Memphis games at 12. Who else is playing at 12? I just saw it a minute ago. This is another interesting game here. Boston College at Missouri.
Yeah. I had that on my list too.
Yeah. So Boston College, obviously we saw what they did, against Florida State on Labor Day night. We haven't seen Missouri yet really play anybody. So can Boston College be physical with an SEC team, or does that game, get out of hand and Missouri's just too much offensively for them? So I like that game at 12:45. I don't care about Notre Dame, Purdue, blah, blah, blah. I do. Obviously, I'll be tuned into the Gator game at 3:30. And then, like I say, the night slate, obviously Georgia, Kentucky's not going to be the game really we want. And that's pretty much it, really. I mean, do you got any other circled games for this week besides the one we just talked about?
I think that was pretty much all I had. Tulane at Oklahoma.
That definitely could be interesting.
Did it take enough steam out of Tulane going into that overtime game with K-State?
I think they'll be ready to go. I think
the only reason why I say it's interesting because OU hasn't done shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. This
that's all the ones I had circled for this week.
Yeah, that's pretty much and like I say, they're all at that early time slot. So I'll have to have the multi-view going for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think those games are going to end up being pretty good ball games. Hopefully, hopefully they're not, hopefully LSU just doesn't come in and like steamroll South Carolina or, hopefully Boston College, doesn't get beat by 21 against Missouri, but they've got some potential to be pretty good games. But yeah, like I say, that obviously I'll be tuned in at 3:30. Can the Gators get a freaking win against a Power 5 team in the last like 10 games or something? I don't know when the last time we beat.
We're ready not to see you in orange and blue another week.
Yeah, keep wearing. I wanted to wear my.
How long?
I wanted to wear the Jag hat, but I couldn't even do that after they laid an egg on Sunday. So
that was bad. I mean, that was just people pick on not pick on him, but giving ETN crap about the fumble. Give more credit to Javon Holland.
Dude, I try to tell. I've been trying to tell people that too. They're like, ETN got a fumbling problem. I'm like, bro, did you not see what the guy did? I don't care.
Back and he
every single running back in the nation would have fumbled that ball if he would have did what he did. Every one of them. Like that was a hell of a play.
That was a hell of a
play. My biggest complaint is if you're ETN, you're about to be at the goal line, protected at all costs, and don't have something like that happen.
I'd rather you just go down at the one than get it punched out.
Dude, because like when he popped out, I was like, they're about to. It was like,
that deflated everything.
Oh no, yeah, but yeah, like I say, what's your schedule like on Saturday? You got to work Saturday? You off? What's the viewing?
I have some festivities going on Saturday, so
festivities.
So we'll figure out some ways to peek in here and there.
You don't have a wedding to go to, do you?
I have some festivities to attend this week.
My boy's got a wedding to go to.
Festivities.
Wow.
It's not October 12th, Sponge.
Yeah. Okay. Like I say, I'm going to that. I'm going to that Alanis Morissette concert next Saturday night.
Oh, you're not going to watch the Canes in South Florida play at 7:00 that night?
I guess I'll have to DVR that one and watch it later, baby.
What kind of friend are you?
like I say, the Gators, they play at noon, high noon, in Starkville. So,
Oof, that just
but
sounds. Yeah, no, I'm
more
gonna catch.
cowbell.
I'm gonna catch some games this weekend and see where it goes. And if not, that's what Sunday and Monday are for,
Yeah,
to
for
go back
sure.
and watch. I
Yeah,
mean, I can't take another nerve wracking game like I did Sunday with the Bears. So
that was
you know,
wild, man. How bad is Will Levis, dude?
Sponge. He actually looked good the first 3 quarters, and I don't know what happened.
Dude,
Did
you cannot throw that ball. Like
did you see?
I was listening to Belichick on Pat Mack earlier this week, and he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you just don't throw that.
Did you see
He's
what
like,
Did you see what Callahan said?
no,
Callahan said they were better off punting on first down every drive, which is true because the Bears offense couldn't do
yeah,
anything.
I know. Caleb had like
Anything. I mean, think about it.
the rookie quarterbacks did not fare well on
Yeah.
Sunday. I guess Jaden Daniels had decent numbers. Bo
Yeah.
Nix looked okay, but yeah, Caleb. I think we drank the Hard Knocks Kool-Aid. We're just like, oh yeah, I love Caleb
We
Williams. Well,
we
I did. I don't know
okay.
how much of you watched it, but I definitely bought
I
in.
no,
I
no.
feel
I
like
watched all of it.
I feel like I'm a damn Bears fan. I feel like
No,
that after every Hard Knocks. I'm
it's
a
funny.
Bears
It's
fan. I'm a
funny you
Lions
say that.
fan.
It's funny because you are a Lions fan. It's funny because Cooey said that,
They're good
and then
now.
you say the same thing. And like I've been saying 7, 7, 8 wins this season, maybe 9. I'm not going to be delusional. Yes, they've upgraded a lot on offense, but you still got to get a guy to get the ball out to him. I'm not jumping hard on him right now. That was game 1 of his
Yeah. No, for
rookie
sure.
career.
Like I said, I love DeAndre Swift. I love,
Yeah,
the receivers.
the offensive line just got
It sucks. It
abused.
sucks that Adunze is hurt now. That
Yeah,
sucks.
but yeah, it was just he didn't have any time when you have Casey and
No, well,
Trevante Sweat.
that's the other thing. That's the other thing too.
It,
Tennessee's D line is like that. Like
yes,
they're not like
they were in the
it's the
backfield every
NFL.
play.
It's the NFL, but that D line is ferocious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
you got 320 plus guys that are moving like nothing, getting up the field. And one of the plays I meant to send it to you, where I can't remember which one it was. One of them threw the center, like literally threw him 5 yards to the side and went after Caleb.
yeah.
Like,
Well, like how did your betting go this past week? Did you hit anything?
it was okay. I went Tennessee solo. The Bengals killed me. That's what killed me all on Sunday was the Bengals
Well,
losing
I'm
to
talking
New England.
what about college? Like the whole
No,
weekend.
college I did okay. College I did all right.
Yeah,
I
what's
think
crazy is
2.
I think I bet like $60 and I lost everything on
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, and
Well,
then
I lost
finally
it all back on Sunday.
well, on Monday I hit that little 3-team parlay in the
Nice.
same game, and it won my money back at least. So I'm like back even from
Yeah.
the weekend, which was good. But I am going to tell you, you should do the strategy of what I did. Just do it for $1. Pick all 16, all 6. You know what my record was? I went
Yeah, you went 15
10,
and
10 5 and 1.
10, 5 and 1. Yeah, it was something. Yeah.
The Seattle game was a push. Obviously, I had Cincinnati. That was a
Yeah.
loss.
That's what the Cincinnati game
Yeah,
is the one that killed me. Other than that,
yeah.
I was doing pretty good, but all it takes
That's what
is
I'm
to
saying. I
lose
mean,
one.
for sure. And again, that's why the odds are so hard. But I mean, think about it: $1 for
Mhm.
32K. I mean, like, I was like, screw it. I'm gonna do it every week. I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only if you look at it, that's only what $17.
Which we know you're going to spend more than $17. But yes, if you're
Just
looking
on
at it
that,
that way,
just on that bet, where
yes.
the
Yeah.
odds of winning
Oh,
thousands, baby. But yeah,
but the odds of hitting 17 games are,
is virtually impossible. That's why it's
basically.
32K.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
what's crazy is, so then I was like, okay, what if I do $1 money line? Just pick the winners.
Winners, yeah. That's still tough.
That's still tough, and
That's still tough, man.
it only pays $500. I mean,
Yeah.
only, but
If you're
think
gonna,
about that. A
yeah,
dollar
if you're
bet
gonna,
for 500.
yeah, like I said, I think that Bengals line is what the Bengals killed a lot of people, even in survivor pools.
No, Survivor, they got killed for sure.
Yeah, they
Like
killed
hell,
a lot of people.
I don't think Buffalo even covered.
Yes, I think it was
I
at
think they covered
6 and
by
a half.
half a point. I think they
Yeah,
covered
I
by
think it
half
was
a
at
point.
6.5, and
No,
that
that's what
DJ
I'm saying.
Dallas touchdown almost killed them.
Yeah, what's wild again is like you look at some of the lines, already, and you're just like, okay, like my buddy Parker, he finally got Hard Rock Bet, and he did a little 5 or 16 parlay.
No free plugs, Sponge.
Yeah, my bad. But he got a $20 bet, and I was like, damn, I actually like these picks. Not bad. So I wanted to know what he was going to roll with, but like I say, it's time to, like, obviously our boy Joe, he's a degenerate. So hopefully we didn't get together. He said he wants to get together with us and work out a spreadsheet.
It's just Wednesday. It's just Wednesday. We still got time. We still got time.
You're right. So maybe we should get together and be like, what's your best 3 games? What's your best 3 games? What's my best 3 games? And then be like, all right, go for it. This is my best 3 games. What's your best 3 games?
We'll chop it up. We'll chop it up in the next 2 days and figure something out.
For sure. All right, people, hit that subscribe button. What's up?
But if you do have an addiction, please call 1-800-ADDICT. We're doing our due diligence to make sure that we're not promoting gambling to be in a bad way.
Yep.
So
I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take advice from me.
Yeah, seek help if you need it. That's all I got.
Yeah, for sure. But like I say, appreciate all y'all. Hit the like bell, hit the subscribe button, holler at us, hit us up. Enjoy some college football. Enjoy your wedding that you're going to on Saturday, and watch some ball. Festivities.
Festivities.
True that. All right, my people. We'll holler at you. We'll see what the teams can do, and we'll come back at you next week. Can't believe we're already freaking week 4, man. Next week. So
I keep telling y'all to slow down. Everybody all summer, I want football. So once football starts, it's Christmas.
The train is rolling, baby. The train is rolling.
Before you know it, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I got to hear about people talking about pumpkin spice even earlier, year in and year out. So I don't want to hear about that.
Can we get some sunshine in Florida and Jacksonville? Good God, man. This rain is like.
This rain is awful. It's depressing.
Trust. It is.
I got up this morning to go to work, and I'm just like, I don't even want to go. It's raining.
Trust. Yeah, I know.
But all right, man.
Driving home, I was just like, man, this is the pits. But
yeah.
All right, my peoples, we'll holler at you. Enjoy some college football. Enjoy some NFL football. Enjoy whatever football. And then just holler at us. Peace.
Later.